Do you know who the surveyor is? Do you know that surveyors play a vital role in the development of the city's infrastructure and sustainability? Yes, surveying is critical to the development of a modern society. The boundaries of our natural and constructed world are determined by the work of surveyors. But how well do you know these unsung heroes? Let's get into the world of the surveyors on the benchmark as we discover the unsung heroes behind our city's development. The benchmark is a 45-minute weekly dose of insight, showcasing the vital roles of surveyors and how they shape the very fabric of our nation. Discover the diverse styles of surveyors and the critical functions they perform, from land surveyors, shaping urban landscapes, to hydrographic surveyors, mapping our waterways. The benchmark will take you on a journey behind the scenes to explore all of these details. So join us every Friday at 10:15 a.m. on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM as we explore how surveyors contribute to national progress, their role in infrastructure development, disaster management, and environmental conservation. Fridays at 10:15 a.m. The benchmark, redefining surveying for an improved city.
They say better late than never, and that's the tune for this morning, even as we take off on the benchmark right now. But before we go into the program proper, quickly, let's tell you that the earlier reported loaded tipper that broke down at Ajegunle is now off the road, and so normalcy restored. I say kudos to our traffic managers spread across that particular location. You're welcome to the benchmark, which is your Friday tonic as it relates to the practice of surveying. Every Friday from 10:15 through 11 o'clock, we bring you great tidings from the surveying world. The whole idea is for you to get a better grasp of how they work so that you can make better use of their services in making things much more beneficial. All right, this is under the auspices of the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors in Nigeria, and today we're taking that conversation to another level. You're welcome. My name is Victor Oteri. All right, then in the past week, we've been able to explore the roles that surveyors play in the construction industry. We've also dwelt on some of the guiding principles that really abides with this profession. But today, we're going to be dissecting the legal and ethical framework guiding surveying as a practice. And I have somebody from the national body here. I'm talking about Surveyor Adams Olubenga Benjamin. He's a member of the Nigerian Institution of Surveying. Also, he is the National Publicity Secretary of the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors of Nigeria. Nice to have you back in the studio, Surveyor Olubenga. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Victor.
And welcome to the month of February.
Happy New Month to you and our listeners at home.
Great. So last week, we were able to dissect a whole lot. This is a brand new week. What's the position? And of course, what's the statement from APSIN this morning, even as we proceed? What's the message?
Yes, on behalf of the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors of Nigeria, we want to wish everybody a fruitful February.
Right.
And we want to say that we should try as much as possible to do the right thing so that we can get a better result.
And doing the right thing is what we're going to be, dwelling on. This campaign has been on going to 2 months now. How is it going, by the way, from the perspective of APSIN?
Well, we've been getting positive feedback, especially from our practitioners in Lagos, from members of the public. We've been getting feedbacks, and most importantly, for some of our members that are not doing the right thing they're supposed to do, the members of the public have been reporting them. we've been able to try and resolve to a certain extent some of the things that need to be resolved.
Right.
So we discover that most times it's not always the fault of the surveyor, but most times people that give the job to them because they go through third party, they don't go to surveyors directly.
Right. So, and that's where I also wanted to, dwell in this morning, because it appears, the built environment has so many professionals, and a lot of times the tendency of using a third party to make use of other professions' services is going to be very, very high. So for surveying, it appears you guys are lost in the woods. So how can people really identify you? How can we identify a true surveyor? What are the things that we should look out for?
Yeah, like I've said on the previous episode, that because our profession, surveying, is one of the professions that is backed by law that mandate us not to advertise. We are not supposed to advertise. So most importantly, if we are to do it, there are ways we can do it. So members of the public feels that it is somebody that advertise being a surveyor that is a surveyor. Mm-hmm. They don't want to know whether that person is qualified or is a quack or not. So that's why we are doing this public alignment, so that members of the public will not fall into wrong hands.
Right.
Like I said, if you want to know who a real surveyor is, as the Lagos state of today, pick your smartphone, Google the name of the person, or you can even search names of surveyors near me. Wherever you are in Lagos State, whether in Badagry, Ekpe, Ikorodu, Google surveyors near me. It will give you the nearest location of surveyors that are closer to you. From there, you can decide to pick whichever one you want to consult. And even the person that is talking to you, ask for his name, Google it. If it's a surveyor or not, it will bring out the picture of the person, whether it's the person you are talking to. And like I always say, don't patronize any surveyor in a public place. Find time to go to the office. Money is not easy to make now.
All right.
For the money you want to put on the table to do the services, get to know the person, get to his office. You will see his certificate of incorporation and certificate of practice.
So when you say in a public place, so what are you making reference to?
Somebody gave me your number. Please, let's meet at Aginingbe bus stop. Under the let's talk. Let me quickly transfer to you. Somebody will take you to the site. Okay. You don't know the person you are dealing with. If by tomorrow that person needs to deliver a survey plan to you, it will tell you, okay, let me send a dispatch. If anything happens, there is no way you'll be able to locate that person.
So we shouldn't deal with surveyors in proxy.
Don't deal with it. Make sure you meet with the surveyor you are dealing with, because the survey does not have expiring date. The day they do your survey, the day they give it to you, the contract has not ended. In case they are trying to they want to perfect their title using the survey plan, anything happens, you still need to get back to that surveyor. In case you make use of all the survey plans they've given to you and you need extra copies, you still need to get back to that surveyor to get you extra copies, which you need to pay for.
Right.
So you need the services of surveyor every now and then. So if you don't deal with the person directly, in case you need the service of that person, you don't start looking for the third party again. Then that means you run into an issue where you still have to start all over again.
So if I get to a surveyor's office, what are the things I should look out for me to authenticate that this is a genuine surveyor?
When you get to a surveyor's office, first of all, you see conspicuously display the certificate of incorporation of the company's name and the certificate of practice, which was given to the person by Surveyors Councils of Nigeria.
Okay.
When you don't see those two, most importantly, if you don't see the second certificate, you are not dealing with a surveyor.
Right. So the Surveyors Council of Nigeria, is that a regulatory body?
That's the regulatory body that guides the practice of surveying in Nigeria.
So and because this is the first time I'm hearing this from you, so if you have any infractions then surveyor, can they be reported?
A surveyor can be reported to majorly 3 bodies. If it's a private practitioner, it can be reported to APPSN, it's the Association of Private Practitioners of Nigeria.
Right.
It can be reported to Nigeria Institute of Surveyors. It can be reported to Surveyors Council of Nigeria, to the extent that a certificate of practice can be withdrawn from him after a fair hearing.
Right. So as a punitive measure, his certificate can be withdrawn.
So that's why you hardly see a surveyor misbehaving. You hardly see a surveyor misbehaving because he knows his practice is at stake.
Right.
If it's being reported and his certificate is being withdrawn, it will be blacklisted. That means he's no more a surveyor. He cannot practice the work of surveying again.
So let's talk about the legal frameworks that guide the practice of surveying. What does it say? What's the legal framework like?
Yeah, the aspect of the legal framework, like I said in previous episodes, surveyor is one of the most regulated profession in Nigeria because it has to do with everything about survey has a legal implication. There is nothing you want to do that is not in surveying that is not backed by law. The aspect of cadastral survey, which has to do with property demarcation and documentation in case you need to apply for a C of O governor consent, the first thing that will be requested of you is a survey plan. In case you have issues with your land and it goes into dispute, the first thing a lawyer or the judge in the court will ask for is a survey plan. So everything that has to do with survey is backed by law. Anybody that is practicing survey who is not a registered surveyor is a quack.
Okay.
And whenever the person is caught, he cannot spend nothing less than 14 years in prison.
Wow. 14 years in jail?
Yeah.
All right. So the law specifies what you guys can do and what you cannot do. Is that it?
The law specifies what surveyors can do and what they cannot do, how they can do it, how they can go about it. It's not that you say because you're a surveyor and this is the way I can go about it. There are rules and regulations, there are guidelines for every aspect of surveying you want to do. In surveying, there is what we call from whole to part, from known to unknown. You must do your survey from a known to unknown, from whole to part, from a larger to a smaller part. So there are rules, there are guidelines that guide the practice of surveying.
And all this must be followed.
It must be followed in total.
If I miss any of these steps, like you just mentioned now, what does that entail?
Yes, you pay for it. That's we call in surveying. We have gross error, we have human error, we have systematic error. All these steps, all these guidelines need to be followed because if you don't follow them, you get into error. What you have done for a series of days, you need to start all over again to come and do it. Because one thing about surveying is that the rules and regulation, the guidelines you are following, another person is following it. So if you don't do it well, they call another person to come and do it. Then you are expected to get minimal difference of results. So if you don't get it, that means something is wrong somewhere. That means somebody has cut corner. He didn't follow the rules and guidelines.
All right. So is this practice, is it cast in stone? Because what you just said right now, if you don't follow this rule, this could likely happen. But if I bring this thing now for everybody to evaluate, will surveyor A, B, C come out with the same result?
Sure.
You mean it?
Sure.
Okay.
We must get the same result. The only difference should be minimal, which is called permissible error, due to maybe human error or human error in the sense that my eyesight may be different from yours based on defects. So what you read, if I read 10 seconds, you may read 9 seconds. So it must be minimal, but it must be within permissible, allowable error.
Right. Okay, so for some professions or for some things in life, you can look through and you can say this is an error. You can say these are things that the members of the public can ordinarily perceive, right? But for you, because yours is a technical field, there are not things that we, the laymen, can easily perceive. Is that not so?
It is so because you are not trained in such area. Like if they give you a survey plan, to you, they've given you a survey plan. But to me, there are some features I look at on survey plan that will tell you actually this is a fake survey.
There are things you can see and that will indicate to you that this is fake.
Yes.
Wow.
Which you cannot detect because you are not trained in that aspect.
Right. So for me as a layman, how will I know if the survey plan I'm holding is genuine or fake?
To a certain extent, to a certain percentage, we can tell you it is fake, but you still need to go ahead to confirm the technicalities.
Okay.
A survey plan must carry the name of the owner, the location, the total area, the origin, the direction, the road, distance and peering, the name of the surveyor, the date, the signature, the seal given by SOCON, the address, plan number. Most of all those things, if you write them down and you see, you are saying this is all the things you need to look out for. Yes, you will see them on fake survey plan too.
Right.
But not until when you get a real surveyor to help you to check, be able to determine. Because most times, they will tell you land is in a Ikorodu. By the time you check the coordinate, discover that you are finding it in Ekpe.
You mean it? From the coordinate that has been given?
Yeah.
Wow. So that could happen.
It does happen.
So if that happens, in that case, it means I was given a fake survey plan.
You were, yes.
And that wasn't probably not carried out by a surveyor. Is that what you're saying?
I can bet you to no surveyor will do such a mistake.
All right. So errors of surveying or errors of surveyors, what impact would that have on the property, or what impact would it have on the physical structure, so to say, if there are errors from the survey?
Yes, number one, let me answer the first one, which is if you have error in survey, it can lead you to lose. It can lead you. If it leads to litigation, you may lose your property.
Okay.
Because if your property is along Agidingbi Road, Latin Jakonde Road, and the surveyor says on the survey plan, based on the coordinate quoted, that your property is on Awolowo Way, there are two different locations.
Right.
So if somebody now comes to come and claim that same property with you, and the person is able to prove that his property is along Agidingbi Road, and you are saying your own is Awolowo, which actually the land is along Agidingbi Road, you've lost the case. You don't need an high court judge to come and tell you, to come and give a judgment. You lost the case.
Okay.
That's on one side. On the second question is that if, like in the engineering survey, a design is being drawn and a surveyor needs to carry out the setting out, if he did not do the right thing and they started the foundation of that without double checking, they run into serious problem. They run into it because that surveyor has led them into serious problem because he didn't do what he was supposed to do rightly. Number one, there's going to be defect in the construction. Number two, they are going to spend more based on what he has set out for them because it's going to affect the bill of quantity that has already been done for that.
So
project.
when investigations are carried out, is there a way they can trace it to the survey?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
It can be traced.
It can be traced.
Right. Now, if a building collapses or perhaps there are defective structures within an environment, is there a way one can say this is as a result of the surveyor? The surveyor didn't do his job well?
No, in building collapse, sincerely, surveyors are not liable because their own job is, after they might have done the setting out and construction has started, their own job is to be there to monitor what they do, the verticality, the horizontality of what they are doing. Most times what led to building collapse is maybe uses of not standard materials, not having all the right professionals, having a builder to do the work of an architect, having a builder to do the work of a quantity surveyor, all those things. So technically, there's another error that is surveyor can. But if a surveyor should commit an error, it will be at the inception. It will be detected even before the project starts.
Who detects that now? Because since you guys are the only ones that know this thing, who will be able to detect? Can the architect detect that this is
good? If a surveyor carry out the setting out for a construction site, before they go ahead to start digging, the architect who designed the drawing will still come and cross-check on what they've set out to make sure that what he has designed is what was set out. So this can be done even before they start digging at all.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This morning, we're dissecting the legal and ethical framework guiding the practice of surveying. And I have Surveyor Olubenga Adams Benjamin, who is the National Publicity Secretary of the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors in Nigeria. Getting back to the roads, we can tell you at this time, traffic is building up gradually in some locations.
Other locations still looking very, very cool. Those of you trying to access the Third Mainland Bridge, you still have access to the bridge at this time. That's from the mainland. And so if you want to still make that journey, it's still fine. But of course, take note that by 12 noon, you won't have access any longer. Those coming from the other side of town, talking about the island, we will have access to the bridge from 1 p.m. So take note of that. And another clarion call, because we've seen motorists complaining that some of you do go line up, just awaiting the time when the bridge will be open. That's going to be coming from the island. Please, let's desist from that so we do not cause any hold up. For those who are trying to access Qatar Bridge or make use of the alternative routes so that they can have access through those corridors. Also, right here in Alausa, it's still getting good, still good. Ikorodu Road as well. Earlier on, we had an impediment within that corridor, but it has been taken off, so it's a much better drive navigating through that end this morning. Okay, so very shortly, I also allow you to join the conversation as well, and that will be on 080-99-120777, 080-99-120777. If you have any question for the surveyor in the building, you can bring it on board, and you can ask your questions as well. Or perhaps you want to react to some of the things that he said, you can feel free to do so. If you're a professional in the built environment too, you can bring in your knowledge. Let's dissect all of this together and make things very, very beautiful on the program this morning. All right. Ethically, let's dwell a bit on that now. For the surveyor, what are the ethics that guides you guys, that guides the profession?
Well, there are so many ethics that guide the profession. One of them, even that I can remember of it.
Let's take a call first of all. Hello there.
Hello, Victor. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ismail
Sam, right?
Aliu Sam.
Aliu Sam. Oh, okay.
Sam from the
yeah, Sam. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to quickly add my voice to the discourse, particularly on the question of the legal framework that you mentioned initially. Now, one of the legal framework that the council, that is the Surveyors Council of Nigeria, has set out is to clearly spell out who does what. You know, the survey profession is made up of private practitioners in the public sector, in the private sector, in academics, and all of that. You have surveyors everywhere. Now, the legal framework has been able to spell out who can do what.
Okay.
Now, when you talk about private practice, you understand, carrying out surveys, particularly like the cadastral survey that you mentioned, it is solely the responsibility of the private practitioner.
Okay.
Now, that is one of the legal framework that the council has been able to spell out.
Okay.
Now, we have our colleagues who are in the public service, as who are civil servants.
Right.
You understand? They are not statutorily empowered to carry out such kind of responsibility. You understand? So if you are patronizing a surveyor and he works as a civil servant, he is not supposed to be able to carry out that kind of survey. He can only be a third party. You understand? The same goes for surveyors who are in academics and all of that. And also, one of the legal framework that has also been spelled out by the council is about what can be done by who. This is what I mean. The federal government, the surveying is on the concurrent list. You understand?
Okay.
And it is the responsibility of the National Assembly to make pronouncements that regards to regulation of the practice. So, be that as it may, even though states are able to make regulations about it, those regulations must never be at variance with the
National Assembly.
government.
Okay.
Because once you have regulations that are at variance with the pronouncement of the National Assembly, such pronouncements or regulations become void to the extent of the inconsistency with that of the National Assembly.
All right.
So those are the things I just quickly want to add with regards to
legal framework. All right, then. I must say a very big thank you to you, Savio Aliu Samuel.
Thank you, Savio Barrister Samuel.
All right, for idea. So, but from what you have said now, have we had situations where some states are at variance with what goes on at the center?
And that has been the main issue we're having in the profession now, whereby some people in the public service, especially surveyor generals of some states, is doing the work of private practitioners.
Oh.
But the profession is looking into it.
Okay.
Yes, so that there won't be issues among the members of the profession.
So you're saying now that if anybody wants to carry out a survey, let's say somebody, an individual wants to carry out a normal survey, cadastral survey for his building or for his property, he's supposed to make use of a private surveyor. That's what you're saying.
It is the work of a private surveyor.
So if I go call someone who works with the civil service, definitely is contravening the law.
Yes, it's going against the law of the civil service. As a public servant, you are not supposed to engage in private practice. Yes, there is a law that guides that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, but for road constructions or major constructions like that, who is statutorily entitled to do that?
A private practitioner.
Will also do that one as well?
Will do that. It is the work of the construction company to employ a surveyor. A surveyor will be a resident surveyor, and have a registered surveyor will be a consultant.
So a surveyor who's a civil servant cannot do that?
They only do supervisory role on behalf of the government.
Okay, so
if that project belongs to the government, because they need to go there to go and check what the construction company is doing. Right. The surveyor who is working for the construction company will have done the work, and the people in the public sector under that ministry or agency will go and check what they are doing, if they have done the right thing.
But he himself will not be able to do that.
He cannot engage in private practice.
You mean it?
He cannot.
Wow. 08099120777. Lots of revelation this morning from the surveying practice and the surveying profession. And if you have any questions that are still at bay in terms of needs clarity for you, you can feel free to bring that on board. I've got some eggheads in the surveying profession who can address that. Hello there.
Morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Ola, please.
Mr.
Mr. Ola.
Ola, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Please, I want to ask the surveyor the question.
Right.
I gave a surveyor a contract work to do for me about 2 or 3 weeks back now.
Okay.
To Abuja State. So this person now came back about 2 weeks ago, handed me the copies. I think about 5 copies. 2 of these copies are in form of clothes material, and the other 3 are
other papers. Yeah.
Okay. So he now told me on that same day that I could go ahead to confirm the red copies, and I believe that should be at the Surveyor General's office in Ogun State.
Record copy. There's nothing called red copy. Record copy.
Red copy.
Okay.
Record copy. So I think I now asked him for information on how to get there. So it was not like he now changed and told me that I can only go there after 2 months to confirm the red copy. So I want to know how is that true?
Yes, it is true to a certain extent because of bureaucracy in all the lands bureau. See, the day I give you your survey plan, I tarry a bit.
Just listen to your radio. Listen to your radio, okay?
I tarry a bit for like a week or 2 weeks thereafter to know if there's going to be any complaint from you. If there's no complaint, that means I can go ahead to go and submit the record copy. Why the person is telling you 2 months is because it takes a longer period for the certificate of deposition of your record copy to be out. At times,
why does it take so long?
Because they are attending to not one surveyor. They are attending to so many surveyors.
So it's called rec copy, not red.
Record copy.
Yeah, some people they shorten it and call it rec.
There is nothing like red copy in our law.
Yes. No, I know. Maybe they just shortened it to rec and not red, right?
Maybe, but the what we keep hearing is red copy.
Right. So, but there's not like red.
No, it is record copy. These are the copy of the survey that we keep in the office of Surveyor General for reference purposes.
And you say that takes a long time for it to be released?
To get, because of the bureaucracy, the processing it goes through, and you know.
Is that the same in all states or just Lagos because of the population?
No, Lagos, Ogun State, and so many other states, because, you know, like in the office of Surveyor General, the department that handled this record copy, maybe there are like 5 or 7 people that are in that department, and they are attending to close to 600 surveyors.
Wow.
That comes with average of 5 to 6 record copy per time.
So it takes time for it to be.
It takes time for it to
All
be
right.
out.
Ola, I hope that satisfies your question. And but for him now, he has to wait for 2 months. That's what you're saying now.
He has to wait to confirm the submission of the record copy, not to confirm the authenticity of the survey plan given to him. If he wants to confirm the authenticity of the survey plan given to him, he can go even a day after the surveyor must have submitted his survey plan to him.
Okay.
But to wait for the certificate of deposition of record copy is the one that may take such a long time.
Okay, but can he proceed with work in between time?
He can go ahead. There is nothing that stops him from using his survey plan. He has a document that is a legal tender in his hand.
Okay. All right. Allah, thank you so much for that one. 08099120777. That's the numbers that you can connect with us. 09153877127. Number that you can use to reach us as well. The broken down loaded containerized truck at River Valley roundabout inwards Kosoko has been taken off, so it's a much better drive if you navigating through that corridor right now. That's the flash update coming from the Ojuju Beja corridor. So let's take note of that as well. Hello there. Okay, guess we lost that. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. You need to speak up a bit.
Yes, can you hear?
Slightly. What's your name?
Yes,
Your name is? Hello? Okay, guess we lost that. We'll try and see if he can reconnect with us. Right? All right, then, even as a wrap up the program this morning, this one says, greetings, please. Please, where can we get the list of approved surveyors and their contact details? Many thanks. That's coming from, is it Toyosi? Yeah, Toyosi. All right. So, as we run this off quickly, Surveyor Adams, where can that be gotten?
You can get it on Google.
Okay, Google.
You can get it on Google. Okay. Names of surveyors in Lagos State.
All right,
they give it to you.
All right.
And like one of the concerns you asked was where link comes in. One of the profession frown at seriously undercutting.
Undercutting.
And if you have members of the public that have issues and they have complaints,
right,
they have the issues they've dealt with others of yours that they need to report, they can get across to us on our email appsnlagos20@gmail.com. appsnlagos20@gmail.com.
We'll leave it at that for now because of time. Let's go. Surveyor Olugbenga Adams, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Okay,
Victor.
then. So the program, The Benchmark, makes a return next Friday. Maximum thanks to Mike James. He's produced. I say big thank you to you as well for listening. My name is Victor Oteri. Have a splendid weekend. Bye.